Is that a panicky feeling waking up in the middle of the night with that mosquito net?
Yeah, a little bit. Better than malaria. I had those fly strips hanging in about 4 or 5 different spots, and they caught some pretty big bugs. But there were a whole bunch of little small ones, and they'd seem to cycle in month-long steps. Looked like tiny grasshoppers, yellowish, about this big. Hundreds of them in my container. Hundreds dead. You'd find them on top of your mosquito netting, especially early when the permethrin worked. Kind of goo, little black beetles that would come up through the floorboards, flies, mosquitoes.
Did you develop protocols to keep yourself safe?
Sometimes I would just, when I had it, I would bomb. If you're meaning in terms of bugs in the container, I'd bomb my room before I'd go out to work, or in the evening if I was going out for a couple of hours. Basically, just take an entire can of Croc Block like it's an, I don't know if it's an insecticide, it's an anti-mosquito thing, mosquito repellent. And I would just basically spray an entire can in the room, close the door, because that shit's toxic, and I'd leave for a few hours and come back, and there'd be like dead stuff everywhere. No mice, that was cool. Floorboards were kind of rotted because just years of damp. The containers had been there for a while. And so in some cases they had put basically a strip of wood down to cover the holes, and then a sheet of linoleum, so you'd get a bit of bounce sometimes. That was pretty common.
What about putting clothes on? I'm sure you'd have to be careful with your stepping into your shoes or
I stopped.
your laundry.
I had locals do my laundry for me, and they actually did a pretty good job of it, honestly. Except for anything that had stretchy fibers. So I had socks, and they would iron them, and it's like, oh. And then they tried to do some of my PT shirts, the stretchy Under Armour material, and a couple got kind of ruined. It's okay. Yeah, putting boots on at first was like shake it upside down, but actually after a while I just didn't even think about it. I brought rolls of duct tape and silicones and tubes of silicone seal, and I spent my first week when I moved into my place basically like siliconing the crap out of everything, duct taping corners, anything, because there were a lot of pretty good sized holes. I had wasps living in between. So it was a sheet of metal, insulator, sheet of metal, and I had wasps living in. There were bullet holes in my container. That was something I had to heal up on too. So I sealed those with silicone.
Sure, there were some pretty good sized snakes in the area too.
Never saw one. That was awesome. Never saw a snake on the tour. I saw a lot on my previous one. So I was relieved at that, because that shit can kill you.